Hello and welcome to another Howl Time. With you today, it's myself, Jeevesh, and Rebecca from Healing with Wolves. Today is a little bit different because this Howl Time is going to be a prequel to a new series called The Science of Happiness. So, because of the unprecedented events, life has changed, and before that, people were living in the pursuit of happiness. During confinement days, even now with the progressive unlocking phase, we see that many people have experienced emotional and mental stress like never before. Nevertheless, the pursuit is still on. Happiness is still being chased, and ways to create the feel good factor. And these can be developed through habits, which include relationships, acts of kindness, taking care of yourself physically, exercise and diet, reaching a goal, spirituality, creativity, and discovering your strengths. And on the deeper side, practicing mindfulness and gratitude. Now, experts have found that engaging in social work is also a factor that contributes to happiness. And guess what? I will be talking about it. So please welcome Rebecca for another session of Howl Time.
Hi everyone, hello Jeevesh. Thank you for this beautiful introduction of our new series of podcasts about the science of happiness. How are you doing?
I am well. I am well. I am happy, actually.
Yes, and you're experiencing the science of happiness through social work during the confinement days.
Yes, I would say that social work is a generic term
Mhm.
which includes what I have been doing, that is, reaching out to people and trying to bring them some comfort and some warmth in these difficult times that we are all facing.
Right. Jeevesh, our listeners have heard you through the podcast, but can you tell us a bit about yourself? Who is Jeevesh, what he does every day, and why he engages on the conversations with us?
Well, that's a good question. Well, I will start in a conventional way. By profession, I am a lecturer in law at Rushmore Business School. So I've been teaching law, mainly English law, to students. And from a less conventional approach, I like the humankind. And I think there is a lot that we can do to make the lives of people better, and I try to do my bit to bring some positive impact in the society, in the community that I'm a part of. So, yeah, let's keep it a little mysterious.
And we will allow our listeners to drop comments, to drop their questions, and during the broadcast of this conversation, if they want to know more about you, more about your activities. So please feel free to drop your question and ask Jeevesh more about himself. Um, so being a lecturer, you had to conduct online classes, and yet, like you said, you managed to find time to offer help to others during this crisis. Um, we know that many people struggle to have a time schedule and work around the time schedule. How did you manage to do this, to conduct your online classes and still find time to go out and reach out to people and offer your help to people?
Uh, at the start of the confinement, I tried to stick to a schedule, but because of the confinement, sometimes the schedule didn't really work. So, what I tried to do, because I knew when I was going to have lectures, when I was going to have classes, when I had to deal with, most of the admin work,
Mhm.
I was able to schedule the shopping trips to buy the food stuff that we were going to distribute, to buy the products that we were going to donate in a very timely manner. And I have to say that when you're helping someone, you will be helped. This is what
Mhm.
we experienced during this. We have been struggling at one point with finding finances,
Mhm.
and people reached out without any questions,
Mhm.
without asking, you know, what's going to happen with the money. Now, maybe that's not a good practice, but
Mhm.
some of us have been sharing pictures to highlight the plight of these people, to highlight, the conditions in which they are.
Mhm.
And I think it did what it was meant to do by highlighting the
Mhm.
issues that we were facing, and people reached out to us. So this was in many forms. People donated money, people donated things,
Mhm.
um, and what was surprising was that the people who donated the most,
Mhm.
who donated without being asked, were the people who maybe didn't have a lot of things.
Mhm.
And I say that because these people came, they came to us and they spoke to us, and they told us that, I would like to do something. It
Mhm.
might not be a lot, but I would like to do something. Some of them offered food. They
Mhm.
cooked a dinner, they cooked a lunch, they got things from members of their family. And,
Mhm.
it's, I won't say it was easy, but it showed how practical we can get when the survival of somebody else is at stake. One person, one family donating one item. If you have 10 families in a
Mhm.
street giving one item, that's 10 items in a pack. So this is how we managed to fill the packs that we were giving out. And
Mhm.
also, at one point, um, the shopping trips became much, much shorter because the supermarkets that we were buying from
Mhm.
reached out to us, and all we had to do at that point was tell them what we needed and go there and pick it up. So, if you want to find out how I reached the balance, it
Mhm.
was with the help of a lot of people.
And the universe conspires to send you the people that you need at the right time.
Absolutely, absolutely.
This reminds me of something that my Guruji always says is that share with whatever little you have. Like you said, you had families donating food, donating money, and without asking, because you share the pictures, your friends who were with you helping shared the pictures, and I even said it um, at the beginning of the confinement when people were criticizing those who were sending out pictures and showing um, how they were contributing and how they were reaching out to people to help them. And I said that it's good that people share those kind of pictures because we can see and we know that there is still some kindness out there, and there are some people who are so selfless and they are doing whatever they can to help others. So sharing with whatever little you have, you prove this through your actions. Maybe you didn't have the money, you didn't have the food, but you were there giving your time, maybe sharing an advice with someone, any act of kindness, anything that can help another human to feel good and to receive what they needed at that moment. Um, Social work has been in your line of activity since a very young age. You were at high school, if I'm not wrong, when you started engaging in social activity.
Yes, yes. The term social activity is
Mhm.
is a broad term,
Mhm.
and I think it is used like this here,
Mm-hmm.
um, to classify this whole idea of being a volunteer,
Mm-hmm.
of giving your time. And I think, as much as it is this umbrella term,
Mm-hmm.
it can include a lot of things. It can include a lot of things. It can include, simple acts such as listening to somebody or
Mm-hmm.
talking to somebody. And unfortunately, because we live by tags and we live by perception.
Mm-hmm.
And as you were talking about the pictures, it reminded me of a quote I read about perception.
Mm-hmm.
And the quote says that no two people see the external world in the same way,
Mm-hmm.
and to every separate person, a thing is what he thinks it is. So,
Yeah.
in other words, a thing, the pictures is what they think. So it's not really a
Mm-hmm.
thing, it's just what they think. So if somebody thinks that, someone is doing this to get some kind of glory, to as we say in Creole, taper de main,
Mm-hmm.
um, other people are seeing, like you have, people
Mm-hmm.
reaching out. I mean, they
Yes.
could have been sitting at home watching the news, watching Netflix, but
Staying safe at home with
they
their
went out.
family. They chose differently,
Yeah,
like
they
you.
went out. Yeah, and I can tell you because I have been out so many times.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I get back home, the process of getting back into the
Mm-hmm.
safe zone
Mm-hmm.
of a house is very tiresome. So
Yeah.
it's very tedious.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the people that have been out, they go through that process. And, because they all go through the hygienic measures, they wear the
Mm-hmm.
masks, they wear the gloves. If they're not
Mm-hmm.
wearing gloves, they're using hand sanitizers. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if you use that hand sanitizer more than 5 times on your hands, you can see the difference.
Mm-hmm.
And and, and if you keep on going, maybe you won't have any fingerprints left. So I can tell you that,
Yeah.
if it was a choice, it was a decision that they took.
Yeah.
So the perception thing is always there, and this is what I perceived when I saw people. I saw people in difficulty, or I saw
Mm-hmm.
difficult situations. It was this idea that I can make an impact, and I
Mm-hmm.
can make a positive impact. And the way that I see things also is that every opportunity that I have is
Mm-hmm.
an opportunity to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the kind of mindset that I took with me when I was trying to go out there and get something done.
Tell us more. How did you feel? Because, like you said, it's a choice that you made to be of service to others and to offer your help, to offer kindness. And how did you feel when you were out there with a group of volunteers helping and reaching out? What was the major feeling for you personally and for the group of people who were engaging into volunteering and being able to serve others in the crisis period?
Um, well, in terms of the feeling, I think the first feeling that we all had was a sense of urgency.
Mhm,
And it's about helping somebody else because, you know, the pandemic has leveled the playing field everywhere.
mhm,
And people who a few months ago would have been happy with their, final end of year bonus, getting
mhm,
into the new year, planning trips around the world, buying a new car, getting a new house.
mhm,
All of these have probably gone down the drain
mhm,
because things have changed just like that. And this is something I wrote about in the newspaper. It was as if Thanos from the Avengers just snapped his fingers
yeah.
and things just changed. So we were dealing with people who, had a job, but they didn't get any money. So they were
Mhm,
struggling because of this shortfall. And in studies they have done on what happens during a recession, this is actually what happens. You don't have that cash flow, and you
mhm,
start selling things. and then eventually you don't have anything left. So
Mhm.
this is what was happening. The people had a cash flow issue. The money was not coming in.
Mhm.
And the other issue was that, because of the way that the confinement worked, some people were too far away to come and get the foodstuff, to get the goods, to get the things they usually get to help them in their day-to-day life. So what
Mhm.
we were doing was, being a bridge between these people and some kind of emergency relief.
Mhm.
And if you Google quotes and services, you will find so many quotes
Mhm.
that explain to you why you should be somebody of service, why service is good, but and I'm sure everybody has heard the one from Gandhi about losing yourself in service to find yourself.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it was more a sense of urgency to reach out and to get to these people. There is a TED talk, or a talk, um, by Simon Sinek, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
where he talks about fishermen, crab fishermen, I think, going out to
Yes.
sea, and then one of the guys falls into the water, and how everybody just, the boat goes back to help the other boat. And
Mhm.
this feeling of urgency, like, hey, I've got enough to go by at the moment. There are people who don't have enough to go by, because we were getting messages. I got messages from a lot of people telling me that, they would need some help. And they were people from all around the island. So what we did was, using our network, using the little that we have, were
Mhm.
just to ease these people through that period. So it was this sense of urgency, like the crab fisherman. And secondly, it was this feeling of, you've made a difference in somebody's life. And the messages that were coming in after, the smiles on the faces, the thank yous,
Yes.
and all of this, it just gave another sense of meaning to life, because things had changed so much. And it gave you this impression of, you know um, what I would say, le sens de l'autre.
Mhm.
And this was something that was featured in a Rotary video.
Yeah.
Um, and and this is what it developed. Like, all the people who were there, who came, who helped, it was about this. And I'm going to tell you something that was in the papers a few days ago. It's
Mhm.
about the homeless people, the
Yeah.
SDF,
Mhm.
in my hometown. And we gave some provisions to these people. We gave them some mattresses, warm clothes, and all of that, because we,
Mhm.
we saw the conditions in which they were.
Mhm.
And what was interesting was that they used the provisions that were given to them, that small group, to
Mhm.
cook for the others who were scattered around the place. So what would happen in the afternoon, around dinner time, people would go there to have dinner. So, you know, we were giving to somebody who was then giving back to others. And this chain is wonderful. And I've had the opportunity to experience that raw on the ground.
To experience and to witness miracles happen when you think about others, and trying to add a little joy in their life with whatever you have, and saying
Yes.
how someone who has less think about others and try to help others. They don't think about themselves. Like, they go from they have another perspective of life on their own, because they know what is the struggle, and they can see someone who's struggling and they understand that feeling, and they all join together to alleviate that pain that they are all going through in some way or another.
Yes, yes, definitely. And this act from the homeless people, from the SDF, reminded me of something that maybe we have neglected to
Mhm.
talk about during this lockdown. Without being demeaning or pejorative, it's
Mhm.
the housewives.
Mhm.
Their lives have changed overnight, because they're having to cater for people who are here and
Mhm.
expect somebody to be here 24 hours in the day. So if somebody like, you know I probably can't relate um, a lot to that situation, but you would expect
Mhm.
somebody to know, um, if you're on the call, you're doing your um, remote working. They
Mhm.
get the food ready, they get everything ready. They have
Yeah.
children at hand when usually they would be at school. So I think this idea of giving back and this idea of taking so much in to give back
Mhm.
is reflected in the work, in what housewives are doing. So, and I've read this on the internet. I'm not sure, I can't remember where actually, where someone says that the economy has not stopped. It's just running differently because all of the households have the kitchen is working, cleaning is working, and it's working twice because everyone's at home.
True, true. And from my friend list on Facebook, I read many posts from my friends who are housewives, who have kids, and who are working from home, and who have to cater for the needs of everyone. Like you said, they don't have someone to look after them. They are the ones looking after everyone and taking care of everyone. Um, but this is really another conversation, another topic. Uh, how the housewife, how the role of the women has changed with this confinement period, and what they have been going through. Still being called to work and um, having their duties at home as a mom and as the housewife. Jeevesh, you mentioned about your um, contribution and volunteering as a Rotarian. And the motto of Rotary clubs is service above self. And with all what we have spoken about now, we can see that you have really adopted and embodied this service above self. Is it something that you have experienced being a Rotarian, or is it something that is innate in you? And being a member of a Rotary Club, has it changed your perspective in terms of offering service and help to others?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It's such a big organization
Mhm.
with so many people, and you have wonderful teams which get created. At the moment, a lot of these teams are being created over WhatsApp, and
Mhm.
just by talking to somebody else, you get things sorted out. I'll take an example of something that happened yesterday.
Mhm.
One of the guys I used to work with a few years ago, who's now a club president, called me for some Rotary related work because we have admin work there as well.
Mhm.
And while talking, I mentioned to him that somebody reached out in the region where he is, and he was on it. He spoke to the lady, and the lady told me that somebody called me, and thanks very much. So
Mhm.
this interconnectivity, this interdependence between the clubs and the members of the club is just refreshing, and it has been even more agreeable now because we are kind of constantly in communication,
Mhm.
and the perception that we have is that things can get done, and this was one of the reasons why we kept on going. I kept on going, volunteering, because we knew that we could get things done, and if something could not be done at our level, we could reach out to people who maybe could get it done at their level because they
Mhm.
were in a different location, or they knew somebody who could get things done.
Mhm.
So, in terms of the perspective as a Rotarian, definitely it's service above self.
Mhm.
But it's not just about social work or community service. It's
Mhm.
also about the network, and
Mhm.
that's what's really interesting because as we were dealing with things happening on the ground, we also have been involved in some online. webinars and
Mhm.
talks and sessions where people we knew, resource persons joined in and were able to contribute to members. We had, for example, at the level of my club, we
Mhm.
had insights from one of the directors of a
Mhm.
leading management company in Mauritius, and most of what he explained in terms of what could happen in relation to the economy,
Mhm.
new ways of doing business is actually taking place. So, it's about this sharing as well, which
Mhm.
gives you the knowledge and makes you see things from a different perspective, from a different angle, so that
Mhm.
when you're faced with um, maybe a crisis situation, I
Mhm.
won't say that you're a little bit more prepared, but you can see that things can be done. And
Mhm.
because you see that things can be done, you just don't close yourself
Mhm.
to possibilities. You open yourself to these possibilities.
And for our young generation listening to us, please, if you feel the calling to join a volunteering club in your region, in your country, please feel free to get the information about how to join the club. Um,
Um, Yeah, they can join the club. So if you want to find out more,
yes.
you can get in touch with me. And incidentally,
Mhm.
I'm the district officer for next year. So I'll be able to help you and guide you through this. There has been a lot of changes in terms of the younger membership.
Mhm.
And actually, Rotary has developed a 5-year plan to focus on younger members. So all I can tell you is that it's a wonderful school to find
Mhm.
out more about yourself, others, and how you can make an impact, a positive impact rather, in the world around you.
So I know that Rotaract clubs, you can join us from the age of 18 and you can be a member till the age of 30. That's right?
Yes, but good news, the 30 years age limit
Yes.
is likely to be scrapped,
Okay.
and Rotaract clubs can become independent members of the Rotary family. So there are quite a few changes coming in that sense. And if anybody wants to find out more, please feel free to get in touch, or you can get in touch with a club in your area, and we'll probably catch up on a meeting some point.
Very beautiful. And we are going to share a few pictures, if you allow us, Jeevesh, of your volunteering activities with the people in your region, with your club, throughout this conversation.
Sure, sure. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I mean, I thank you. I'm very grateful for everything that you do, everything that you are doing right now, and the way you contribute in showing that uh, sharing is an attitude and it is a way of life, and that when you share, when you look at the world with abundance, you receive all the help that you need to be able to do what you have to do. Um, because we have to get this clear that everything you have done till now and everything that you plan to do on the volunteering work, it's been based on either donation from people or from your own. So you invest from your own pocket to be able to do all the social and volunteering activities. It's nothing funded by big companies. It's like all on donation basis. If I'm
Not
not.
all of it.
Mhm.
Not Yes, no, not all of it. Well, at the start, some of it was, uh, what came from our own pockets.
Mhm.
But as the work kept going on, we received donations.
Mhm.
Some companies reached out to us.
Mhm.
But when I talk about donations, it's not just the financial aspect. I mean, a lot
Mhm.
of things were facilitated by these companies. But no, we have had help from a lot of companies. We
Mhm.
have had help from a lot of people, but a lot of what we gave also came from our own contribution.
Mhm.
And as you rightly said, if you want to feel the benefits, of doing something like this, you
Mhm.
don't have to invest a lot of money. And I
Mhm.
I I would just say invest a bit of your time,
Mhm.
because by doing this, there are so many lessons that you can learn. And
Mhm.
on top of making the impact, on
Mhm.
top of giving more, the lessons that you learn are invaluable. So, by meeting these people, by talking to them, by finding out about their way of life, by finding out about the way of life of the other volunteers,
Mhm.
you understand a lot to what life is actually about, the meaning, the purpose of life. And I think that if you are struggling, and I see a lot of young people struggling with this, they don't really know what to do, they don't really know
Mhm.
where to go. This will give you a sense of direction, and it will help you to refine or redefine your purpose in life. And even if you don't have to live a life of purpose, it's something that will give you a lot of satisfaction. And I can tell you that once you have tasted it, you will come back for second helpings.
Jivesh, from the young man that you were when you started volunteering till now, can you please share with us what are the most valuable lessons that you have learned through volunteering activities? Maybe three most valuable lessons, because I know there is a list of them. If we can make it short, like three most valuable lessons that you have learned.
Okay, well,
How many years,
I shouldn't have
so that people can get
an
it clear?
issue.
Because when I say that you started at a very young age until now that you're doing those activities, how many years of volunteering service you count?
Um, I don't know. I mean, as I said, volunteering for me means a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're going to include the social work in between inverted commas, so that
Mm-hmm.
would definitely be around 10 years. But if we include all the other little things,
Mm-hmm.
that would be maybe a little bit more. But um, this the volunteering, the
Mm-hmm.
helping others, it doesn't stop.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe you have helped people without knowing it, and because you don't know it, you don't understand
Mm-hmm.
the satisfaction and the impact that you have made on the lives of these people. But what I can tell you is that if you have this helping nature, if
Mm-hmm.
you are of service, there will be a day where somebody from your past whom you might have helped directly or indirectly will come back to you and say, "Hey, thanks, man. Thank you." Because, you know, at some point in my life, I was going through this bad phase,
Mm-hmm.
and you reached out and you helped me. And this is going to make you realize that actually you have been doing this for quite a long time and you can keep on doing it. There is no quantification, there is no way of measuring this,
Mm-hmm.
because, the positive impact just keeps on going on and on. So, as I was telling you earlier, we gave something to the homeless people who
Mm-hmm.
used it to give something else back to all the people around them. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a chain and it keeps on going, and all you can do is contribute to that chain and make it stronger.
This is so beautifully said, and from all of that, um, what I can say is that no act on this earth gets unnoticed. So whatever you have shared, and because you have shared something with others, you can expect back in return at the time you need it. Like you said, you may have helped someone knowingly or unknowingly in the past, in a very distant past, and out of the blue this person comes out and tell you, hey, thank you for the help. And maybe you needed
Yes.
that reminder at that time to give you
Yeah,
a boost and to remind you that yes, helping others and serving others is innate and you cannot change that, and you just needed a reminder. So that was the reminder that you needed, that come at the right time, so that you can continue doing that one thing that brings you happiness and joy.
yeah, definitely, definitely. And just to piggyback to the
Mhm.
question you were asking before, about what I
Mhm.
have learned.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were quite a few things that I have learned, but what I can tell you is that we live in a country with a lot of beautiful people,
Mhm.
and it was absolutely heartwarming to see how, when we saw the problems, we saw the issues,
Mhm.
everybody just got together, irrespective
Mhm.
of, where they came from, which
Mhm.
football team they supported, different backgrounds, different perceptions. The end goal was there is somebody in trouble, we can help him or her. What can we do? So these people just came together, whichever community they were from, whatever beliefs they had, they just came together to provide this help. And if you have been living here since independence, you realize the importance of the whole process, and you realize why people actually call this country the Rainbow Nation.
I've
And
seen
and
pictures of different people from different communities all coming together to help, and I was so proud to say that this is Mauritius, and this is the Mauritius that I have always wanted to see working together.
but this is what I mean. And just to select three out of the lessons that I have learned,
Mhm.
we were helped by a lot of people, and we are still being helped by a lot of people. And what we have seen is that education walks hand in hand with empowerment,
Mhm.
and the people who have been supporting us are coming forward. We have had a lot of assistance from the police. I mean, the
Mhm.
amount of things these guys go through, it's incredible. Nobody would understand or imagine
Mhm.
unless they spend some time with a policeman. I mean, they knew people who were actually in great difficulty. They
Mhm.
spoke to these people, and they were able to cater for these people, to look out for these people, because
Mhm.
they are there every day. And I'm sure that at the end of the day, they go home with a great, great, great sense of having done what they should have done.
Mhm.
Um, as we say, le sens du devoir accompli,
The
because they
fulfillment
are
of
actually
duty.
exactly, they're actually empowering these people. And this is what we learned, that we educate people, but we should also empower them. So we have people who have been helping us and who are helping us now to show people how to plant, to show
Mhm.
people how to grow their own food.
Mhm.
So this is one of the things that I saw, that I learned. The other one is that if you have a conversation with compassion,
Mhm.
everybody feels lighter. Everybody
Mhm.
feels lighter. I'm going to tell you something that happened. So near the airport, there is a little place
Mhm.
which is rightly called Solitude.
Mhm.
And one of my friends, Prema, she was there, and she was speaking to a little girl, and
Mhm.
she was comforting the little girl who didn't have her mother, and she was telling her, like a big sister would,
Mhm.
um, that she'll be okay, that she needs to focus on the studies, and that she needs to be kind, and that things are going to get all right. And
Mhm.
just that little conversation was enough to boost up the morale of that girl. And actually, we are now working on finding tutors for her and like supporting her through her education. My neighbor, with whom I haven't had a chat in a long, long time,
Mhm.
found out because he donated some things as well. And he
Mhm.
told me, you know what, if you need any help, you just let me know. So it's just this chain that keeps on growing and getting
Mhm.
stronger when you start talking to people. And these conversations with compassion really, really help to lighten the heavy burdens of everybody around you. And sometimes, even if you don't have words,
Mhm.
it's okay to just listen. It's okay to just listen to them. But if you're able to contribute, then please do contribute. And sometimes we have to we have to appreciate that somebody is actually there trying to listen to you. Maybe they don't have the right words to say because they
Mhm.
have no training in this. They don't know. They can't put themselves in your shoes, but
Mhm.
they're trying to help. And although it might not actually help you, if you look at it from a positive outset, it can be taken as something good, as something positive, and something compassionate. And that is going to help us relate to each other, connect to each other, and get things sorted when we think things are going down the drain.
Compassion, kindness, and service to others. I mean, we have a list of ingredients to finding and having sources of happiness out of selfless service to people. Many of my friends who have been of service to others, who have contributed in providing help to people in crisis. I'm going to tag the name so you can see. And if you're listening to us and you wish to contribute and you wish to help, you can leave your comment or you can send a message directly to Jeevesh and see how you can contribute to help the group of people who are working on the front line to be of service to others. Because we have been through the crisis period for more than 50 days, and it's not going to stop there because even after the lockdown period, the crisis is still going to be lingering around for a certain period of time. And these people out there, they will need our help more than ever. Because, like you said, from what you said, I get the picture that these people have been through a lot. They don't have the cash flow. Some of them may have lost their job, or some of them are on the red line, losing their job after the lockdown period. So, if you're there listening to us and you have the ability to help in one way or another, please get in touch with a group of volunteers in your area. If you know of any person who's doing volunteering service to help people, to serve others, and to provide help to others, please contact them, or you can leave a message to Jeevesh so that you can contribute to that cause and serve others. I thank you,
Yes,
Jeevesh.
yes, definitely.
Yeah, and I thank you, Jeevesh, for sharing your experience of kindness and being of service to others, and telling us about the policeman, your experience with the policeman, how you encountered. Because we hear many critics, many bad comments about policemen all the time, but it is also nice to hear how they are helping, how they are contributing, how they are directing the people who are volunteering towards other people they know who are in difficulty at this moment. And they have a mental
Yes,
pressure.
definitely.
They have the mental and emotional pressure of their actual job to handle with all of that.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to take this opportunity
Mhm,
to thank everybody who's helped us so far in this initiative, all the volunteers, all the sponsors, all the donors, and everybody else who directly or indirectly helped in making this a happiness project. Because
mhm,
at the end of the day, it was bringing some kind of happiness to these people, and
mhm,
to be fair, we have also learned that you can't make everybody happy, but
mhm,
we try and bring some kind of change to
mhm,
people who need it. And yeah, the frontliners, the policemen, have been instrumental in leading us to such people, these people in very difficult conditions. And there is one particular case that I remember
mhm,
where there is this person who doesn't have electricity, and
mhm,
she was able to get some food, but
mhm,
she also asked us for candles. And luckily, there was a shop that wasn't far away, and we managed to get her some candles. And I can tell you that, we always talk about happiness in a
mhm,
picture, happiness in a face, and
mhm,
the smile that she had at that point in time when she received the candles,
mhm,
that was happiness. I don't have a picture because we don't take pictures
mhm,
of the beneficiaries. We don't take
mhm,
pictures of their faces unless they want us to,
mhm.
or ask us to. And that was a priceless moment.
You kept a mental
So
picture.
no, definitely, Definitely, yeah, yeah. It's one of these things that stay with you forever. And
Mhm.
when you are down and you feel that, hey, I can't save anyone, I can't help anyone, I can't do this, I can't do that, that gives you the fuel, that gives you the drive, that gives you the energy and the motivation to say, okay, maybe I can, and let's just do something.
Being able to give the candle to that person, she doesn't have any electricity at her place. So you brought light into her life.
Yeah, yeah. In a certain way, yes, yes.
Mm.
That's a very um, nice way of putting it, actually.
I thank you so much, Jeevesh, for sharing all these experiences with us. And I hope that everyone listening to us right now get inspired to start, because it is never too late to start. So you start helping others, living with kindness, developing the attitude of kindness, of sharing, of compassion. If you don't have it, please develop it. Start being compassionate towards yourself and towards everyone, and no one ever suffers when you develop compassion and kindness. Do you have one last word for our listeners?
If I have a last word, I usually have a last word to close off
Mm-hmm.
the podcasts, the episodes. But if I
Mm-hmm.
have something to say, it's simply that, reach out for someone, speak to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and if you can help someone, then please help them. And that actually, you can find so many quotes about this on the internet. Service is happiness,
Mm-hmm.
and the satisfaction and the joy that you will receive, that you will experience when you do this is boundless. It's boundless, and it's going to change the way you see things, because when you're doing these things, if you're anxious, if you're feeling stressed at the moment, it's very likely that you won't feel that way, because you are helping somebody, you're trying to do something positive for
Mm-hmm.
somebody else, and your negative thoughts will just get extinguished. So this is what I would suggest. But of course, we are in a confinement period.
Mm-hmm.
Stay safe. Take care of
Mm-hmm.
yourself first. Make sure that you follow all the measures. But if you have the opportunity to help someone, even if it's just talking to them, do it.
And it all comes from the heart. So whatever you do it from your heart level. Thank you everyone for listening to us. This was Whole Time with Jeevesh on our sequel of The Science of Happiness. We will be doing another podcast very soon on another topic. Until then, take good care, stay safe. Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.